Hello Space Fairies! It's time to tell you how my rabbit died. But before that, I have to tell you how my rabbit lived. When my brother and I were very young, we adopted a rabbit each. Now, the plan was to get 2 lady rabbits because 2 boy rabbits would fight and a boy and a girl rabbit might just have hella babies that we wouldn't know what to do with. So we got Fluffy and Twitch, our 2 lady bunnies, and we kept them in a big hutch together in the garden, and then my dad built a rabbit run for them to play in during the day. And this was fine for a bit, until they started fighting viciously, and this is how we learned that we actually had 2 male rabbits and all they wanted to do was kill each other. And then Fluffy was later renamed Jack because I liked that name better. So Jack and Twitch had to be kept separate and we had to buy a second hutch, but we didn't have enough supplies to build a second rabbit run. Our solution? Jack stays in the rabbit run and Twitch just has free reign of the garden. And we figured because they were so determined to fight each other, Twitch would just stay safely by the run where he can chase Jack without actually hurting him. This was the plan, and it worked well. What we didn't expect was that Twitch's freedom would turn him into a small ball of righteous fury. He enjoyed having open space so much he started refusing to go back in his hutch at bedtime and even in winter. And he would lash out if he thought someone was trying to put him to bed. He started chasing or trying to headbutt our family cats if they went outside, and he would often attack my mum when she was hanging out the washing. He was permanently mad at the world, and he was also very, very strong, like actually shredded. He stopped looking like a nice cuddly bunny and started looking more like Frank from Donnie Darko. He scared away neighborhood cats, and he scared me and my brother. If we couldn't see where he was outside, we wouldn't go outside in case he charged at us. And you know what? We probably would have left him to it, but our area had a lot of urban foxes and it was safest to keep both our rabbits in the hutches at night time, if never at any other time. So when it came to Twitch, my mum and dad had to devise a herding method to get him to bed every night, where both of them would be wearing oven mitts and one of them would chase him towards the other, who would then essentially grab him and just hike him into his hutch. This lasted years. Twitch refused to accept that this was for his own safety, and yeah, in hindsight he probably could have taken on a fox. But years later, Jack eventually got sick and passed away, but by then Twitch was so accustomed to owning the entire garden that we ditched the run and just accepted that we basically lived with a wild rabbit who we were just fond of enough to throw into his hutch every evening. And in this way, my mum became his worst enemy. Like, she was the only one who could outsmart him and get him into bed, and he would always kick her furiously when she picked him up. He was an angry rabbit. So, one day, 7 years later, it was Twitch's bedtime. My mum put on the oven gloves, she got ready for the routine, and my mum and Twitch have a standoff. They are on opposite ends of the garden, but they are locked on each other. Twitch charges her, and she spends some time chasing him round in circles, rounding him up before it gets too dark to see him, and eventually he tries to make a run for it and get past her, so she picks him up and throws him into the hutch. And he lands safely in the hutch, and he just turns around on the spot and stares at her with fury. Like, he just watches her with hatred in his eyes as she goes back inside. The next morning, as we go around the house to feed all the pets, my brother notices Twitch is still staring at the door, waiting for my mum to come out. Like, he looks mad as hell and he is just locked onto her. My mum cautiously goes out to feed him. He's just staring her down. She opens the hutch door to chuck the food in, and he does not budge. And he keeps not budging. And eventually, as a family, we all notice he's not breathing. Twitch has died. So as it turns out that after living much longer than he was supposed to for his breed, Twitch, the angriest rabbit in the world, in the instant my mum put him to bed, died of pure anger. At the time, obviously, me and my brother were completely heartbroken, but in retrospect, I have nothing but respect and admiration for the wild rabbit we knew who died the way he lived. Angry.